Hi and welcome to ZoomTV, the show where we explore everything that flies, drives and floats and invite you along for the experience. Basically, we're going to give you information so you can make a more informed purchasing decision. On today's show, we take a close look at the hybrid and electric vehicles currently on the market, starting with the Holden Volt.
I think the Volt is one of the most technologically absorbing cars I've ever sat in.
Ross and I take a close look at the Camry hybrid.
Toyota have over 2 million hybrids driving around the world, and this one leads it in technology.
And Allan Simons checks out the Nissan Leaf.
It depends on one of the most advanced lithium-ion batteries ever developed.
And our Sanders celebrity hitchhiker today is the tough man from the UFC, Rashad Evans. What car do you currently drive?
I drive a Cadillac CTSV. It's a fast Cadillac. I mean, it hauls.
Welcome to ZoomTV.
You know, I may have only had the chance to review just a handful of cars so far on this program, but I reckon the producers here have begun to work me out. And I'm not sure if it's my tree-hugging, nature-loving past, but when they rang to see if I'd be interested in road testing an exciting new electric car, well, I couldn't resist, could I? They know me well. Although I must confess, in my excitement to discover everything I could about this little gem, I made contact with Melville Holden and asked to borrow a car for a day. Now, they were only too happy, but in conversation, I was immediately corrected when referring to it as a hybrid. This is no hybrid. Oh no, this car is so much more. So what exactly is it? Well, it's electric. It's a luxury electric-powered sedan, but it's also a vehicle that's pushing the boundaries of anything that we've seen before. Up until now, say electric vehicle, and no doubt you think small, average-looking hatchback with a range of about, say, 60 k's. But imagine only hitting the petrol station, say, once a month, because this car has the technology to travel much further. How does 600 k's sound to you? Under the bonnet is a full electric drivetrain like any normal electric vehicle. But now they've included a small 1.4 litre petrol motor, which kicks in whenever the battery needs a charge. It doesn't power the wheels, just the lithium-ion battery. Having said that, if the battery does run flat, just pop into your closest service station, fill up the petrol motor, and you drive it like a standard car. That's actually a first for electric vehicles. By the way, guess how much it costs to charge the battery? $2.50. And that gives you the first 80 kilometres of driving on electricity only, without engaging the petrol engine. Dave, it's a really good-looking car, isn't it? You must be getting some comments, eh?
We're getting a lot of feedback from customers. They are over the moon with it. It's just so full of technology and it's so different. They just can't get enough.
Well, that's it. It's technology, isn't it? It's technology on wheels. I mean, what are your favourite features?
My favourite feature personally is the fact that you can start up the vehicle without having to be in the vehicle. You can even be inside your house if you've got a good enough range. And you can start the car up to climatise the entire cabin to how you last had it.
So you could be, say, 5 minutes from getting in your car on a 40-degree day here in Perth, aircon's going, you get into a really nicely chilled area.
That's exactly right.
That's very smart.
It is. That's cool.
What's this button here do?
That one actually stops if you're getting too close to a vehicle. It will alert you and actually get you to slow down.
You're kidding, it does the dirty work.
Yeah.
What's the one underneath it?
That one is if you actually veer over a lane without indicating. It, again, alerts you and lets you know that you're starting to drift. Good
for while you're texting, you know, if you're texting while you drive. Of course, we don't do that here. You condone that sort of stuff, not at all. Personally, I think the Volt is one of the most technologically absorbing cars I've ever sat in. For instance, when I brake, the Volt is able to regenerate that energy and use it to charge the batteries. And check this out. This little animated green ball here reflects how efficiently I'm driving the car. Accelerate too hard and the ball leaps to the top and turns slightly yellow. But then brake a little, putting energy back into the motor, and the ball stays green, which is just the kind of thing you'd expect when you're sitting in what looks like the world's most luxurious game console. But as is tradition, I've saved one of the best features for last. That is the way it drives. The Volt's unique electric propulsion system means instant torque, and it turns out it's pretty awesome handling too. Electric cars that are fun. Who'd have thought? There's only one spec offered in Australia. It's the model with all the fruit. So if you'd like to give it a whirl, pop into Melville Holden or jump on their site. It's melvilleholden.com.au, or better yet, follow the links from ZoomTV.
Coming up after the break, Allan Simons introduces you to the all-new Nissan Leaf. That's next on ZoomTV.
We're here for the Nissan Leaf. The Nissan Leaf is 100% electric. You'll never put even a drop of petrol in it, ever. It produces 0 CO2 tailpipe emissions. In fact, it doesn't even have a tailpipe. Instead, it depends on one of the most advanced lithium-ion batteries ever developed. The Nissan Leaf is a little bit out of this world when compared with any other car on sale today. It has so many features that'll make you go, oh, that's a great idea, that even if it wasn't an electric car, it'd still be a very cool vehicle to own. The Leaf is so vastly original, it'll change the way you think about and drive cars for many years to come. What am I talking about? Let's have a look. For example, you can tell it to start up the air conditioning or heater at 7 a.m. in preparation for your drive to work at 7:15. It has a mobile SIM card built in, so it constantly updates itself with new info, new charging stations, vehicle updates. You can find out remotely from your iPhone how much charge your car has left, and even tell it to begin or stop charging remotely. And the onboard computer system will even tell you your driving range on a map and nearby recharging stations. Seriously, it's like a technological revolution. The whole car is like some super smart computer, only this one's on our side. Now, it won't make you a double decaf soy skinny latte or whatever the popular drink is at the moment, but its onboard computer will suggest places that can. For those of us still trying to get our heads around electric vehicles as opposed to hybrids, the main difference between the Nissan Leaf and a hybrid like the Prius is that the Leaf doesn't have a petrol motor at all. While the Prius can run on electric power alone for no more than a kilometre or two at best, the Leaf runs entirely on its electric motor for up to 170 kilometres. Now, as far as drivability is concerned, you'll feel the Leaf accelerate like a sports car. It's kind of an odd feeling really, because there's absolutely no engine noise or vibration. The gear stick is very tiny and easy to operate. Simply slide it to the right, pull it back towards you, you're in drive and ready to go. Perfect for the Australian climate, the rear spoiler's solar panel converts sunlight into energy for the 12-volt battery, which helps to power many of the interior accessories. So how do we charge the Leaf? Well, you can charge it at home by just plugging it in there, or there are charging stations around the cities and towns. Drive to work in the morning, drive home at night, plug it in, and you're set to go the next morning. It's that easy. Spending 30 minutes behind the wheel of a Nissan Leaf was an eye-opener. It's truly the first full electric car that you can live with. It's comfortable, it drives well, it's full of technology, and it has enough juice to get us around on a daily basis. The Nissan Leaf is really just like any other modern car you'll ever own. Oh, and by the way, it has the full 5-star ANCAP safety rating. The only real difference, I guess, is that you'll never, ever have to visit one of those smelly petrol stations ever again. The Leaf is touching down soon at Northside Nissan, so visit their showroom at Berriman Drive, Wangara, northsidenissan.com.au, or follow the links from ZoomTV.
Welcome to the very beautiful Perth in Western Australia, where Ross and I today are looking at the brand new Toyota Hybrid, thanks to City Toyota. Now, the first thing that I want to admit, Roscoe, is it's probably not the best car for us to review together because of all the big words they use in the brochures. The salesman was telling us all these big words, and we're not the best users of the English language.
No, you use the big words, I use the little ones like door, bonnet, car.
It's probably the best way to translate it to the people at home anyway. The first thing I want to translate is, what are you doing with that?
I am looking for a PowerPoint.
You don't need a PowerPoint with a hybrid car.
No?
You don't really know that much about the hybrid cars, do you?
Well,
let me quickly explain. What a hybrid does is it uses a petrol and an electric engine together. Well, a petrol engine and an electric motor. The electric engine is charged by the regenerative force within the car, like when you stop and when you coast along. The actual Toyota Camry now, the hybrid, is a little bit longer and a little bit wider, so it gives it a really aggressive stance. So it's a quite aggressive greenie.
Now, one thing that people want to know is the size of the battery, because there is a battery. Now, Aaron, this car has a separate battery to start it, then a bank to actually drive it along, but this is a regular sized boot.
It is, because the batteries are actually under the seats.
Right.
And you know what those batteries allow this car to do? Just sip fuel. It's very economical.
Go and have a coffee.
I'm going to. You take it for a drive and I'm going to go sip some coffee.
Got me. In today's competitive car market, all manufacturers are battling to come up with features that others don't have. Well, I tell you what, the second generation hybrid Camry has come up with some beauties, starting with the well laid out passenger compartment. The first thing that grabs attention is the instrumentation. There is no need for reading glasses. Everything you need to know is in large, bright and easy to read numbers. Now as we pull in here and slip it into reverse, the camera comes on, there's lines and flags to show you exactly where to go. Also, the rear vision mirror is turned down so you can see the curb. Plus, the rear protective blind also folds down. Now, the only thing this car doesn't have is the wife standing on the curb yelling out instructions. Plus, to top this all off, the side mirrors have a telltale light when someone comes into your blind spot, allowing you to change lanes safely. Now, this car is nice to drive, and the variable transmission, meaning no gear changes, is as smooth as my mate Aaron Pitt's head. Now, Toyota have over 2 million hybrids driving around the world, and this one leads it in technology. There are so many pluses to owning a hybrid Camry. Firstly, they are cheap to run, cheap to service, and at only $130 for a fixed service for the first 5 years, or 75,000 kilometres, and of course the battery boasts an 8-year warranty. The list goes on and on. You can also probably get home on the battery power alone should you run out of petrol around the corner. Hey fellas, and if you're out past the curfew, you could flick the Camry into battery power close to home, and it's so quiet, no one will hear you sneak home.
If you're part of a club or an association to do with anything that flies, drives or floats, and you've got an event coming up, we want to know about it. Go to our website, zoomtv.com.au, click on the events tab, tell us about it, we'll plug it, we might even come along. After the break, we catch up with the West Australian Four-Wheel Drive Association and continue to look at the all-new Camry Hybrid. That's next on Zoom TV. The Camry Hybrid has more than just a new drivetrain. It also comes with a new, highly efficient, all-new aerodynamic design. Sleek headlights complement the wider lower grille, and re-sculptured bumpers on the front and rear all contribute to a stronger athletic road presence. But the most impressive thing about the Toyota Camry Hybrid is its mechanics. Why? Well, listen to this. It's simply so quiet, and that's because at low speeds the Camry can be powered by the electric motor alone, which means you're using no petrol and absolutely producing zero, zip, nada emissions. Now that has to bring a smile to your face. The Camry combines a 2.5 litre petrol engine and an advanced battery-powered electric motor. At low speed or power expectations, the electric motor is used, and when more power is required, the petrol engine and electric motor work together to deliver more power. So when you need to tow, overtake or get up those hills, the Camry will not let you down. And for those people that are just discovering hybrids, and you should all know this, that the battery that powers the electric motor never needs to be plugged into the wall. It receives all the charge it needs from you just driving it around normally. Even when you brake, the Camry uses the regenerative energy to charge the battery, so absolutely no energy is wasted. You can also choose the EVE mode, which locks in the electronic motor, which means you can drive around for short distances powered by just the electric motor and use absolutely no petrol. How cool is that? Now, the Camry Hybrid isn't just a green machine, it's also very safe. It's jammed with active and passive safety technologies, including 7 airbags, reverse camera, electric power steering, vehicle stability control, ABS brakes, electronic brake force distribution, brake assist, and traction control. Plus, don't forget the automatic high beam off and blind spot monitor. So, Mr. Duncan, how was your first experience in a hybrid?
Impressive.
They're quite good, aren't they?
It goes like a rocket ship. It's fantastic. Yeah.
You know, the thing that I found really trippy driving this car was when the actual mechanical engine shuts down, the petrol engine, and you're driving just under the electric motor. I'd worry about you in one because there's nothing really to keep you awake, Roscoe, is there, when you're driving?
No, but the other thing was I didn't have to use these, for
the dash.
Yeah,
The dash
fantastic.
was really good. Now, you know, the other thing that's good, because you did read the brochure, of course, was read by you,
I did.
was the warranty.
Yeah.
How impressive is that?
Fantastic. Like, you know, 8 years for a battery. Everybody worries about more batteries, but 8 years, not a problem.
3 years, 100,000 kilometres on the engine. And of course, the final thing we must mention is the fixed price servicing. Fixed for $130 for the first 5 years or 75,000 Ks.
You can't buy a McDonald's for that.
You can't.
No.
Now, Roscoe,
Right.
if anyone wants to get themselves one, where should they go?
City Toyota, WA, of course, they're the people.
Okay,
Yep.
or jump on to citytoyota.net.au or Ross.
ZoomTV.com.au.
Now, talking about buying things, I noticed you've only got the one coffee there, mate. How about we go and get ourselves... No, this way, Ross. The coffee shop's this way. I'm now joined by Davis Reid from the West Australian Four-Wheel Drive Association. Now, Davis, you had your campfire gathering recently, which we attended last year. What happened?
Oh, look, it was a terrific event this year. We had just on 250 people attend Darren and camp overnight for the Friday and Saturday night. We had the four-wheel drive track, but what we did was he included a navigation course where the driver was blindfolded and the partner had to direct, which was absolutely comical. We had kids' corners, so the kids were able to cut loose with a couple of people for a few hours. And then that night, we sat back with a campfire. We had Beg Graham on a guitar playing a few tunes, and we gave away some raffle prizes. So it was a brilliant weekend, and the weather was really nice. So that was a bonus.
Okay, now I love your events because the events that are tailored around the four-wheel driver really help to increase and improve the skills the four-wheel driver has.
Oh, that's right, and that's part of this with the track. It's a controlled environment, so people can actually learn what a four-wheel drive can do and how to push it. And if they do get into trouble, we have experienced people there to be able to guide them and teach them on how to best use it to get out of that situation. So it's a win.
Now, you have events coming up throughout the year. If people want to find out more, what do they do?
Well, the West Australian Four-Wheel Drive has its own website, which they can get on. That shows all the clubs that are located around Perth. There are 30 four-wheel drive clubs. People can elect to find those clubs that suit them, and they obviously have a link which shows them what's going on within that club, and off they go, you know, and enjoy their four-wheel drive out in the great outdoors.
Well, maybe we can make next year's. I'll put it in my diary.
I hope so.
I'll get the invite. I'll wait for the invite. After the break, join me with this week's Asanda celebrity hitchhiker, Rashad Evans. That's after the break on Zoom TV. Welcome back to Zoom TV. Now, it is time for the Celebrity Hitchhiker. Today, I'm not hitchhiking or picking anyone up. I'm actually meeting someone in a store today. I'm with Rashad Evans, Sugar Rashad Evans, from the UFC. Now, you're a professional ultimate fighter. What an incredible sport to be a part of.
Yeah, it is. You know, the growth of the whole sport has been kind of crazy within the last few years. You know, I started fighting in the UFC about 8, 9 years ago. It seemed like time just flew by so fast, but when I first started fighting, it wasn't nowhere near where it was at. You know, when I was fighting, first starting off, my first fight was in a bingo hall and people smoking cigarettes. It was like in this little small town in Indiana. Yeah. So it's just so crazy to see how far it came to, you know, from where it is right now.
What do you think has made it so popular and escalate so quick?
I think one thing that made it so popular is the fact that it's a fan-friendly sport. And another thing that makes it so popular is the fact that the fighters, the access to the fighters, you know, they make sure that we're always out there and we stay close contact with our fans.
Okay. And the other thing I suppose that I've noticed is that it's a very different fighting style to boxing. There's almost wrestling and karate and all these other things that come into it. So.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing that makes the sport that much more interesting is the fact that there's all these different disciplines, and, you know, you see one fighter goes in and out of different disciplines, you know, between going from punching and striking to doing a takedown, and then from doing a takedown to doing his jiu-jitsu and a submission. So that's kind of the beautiful part of the sport, to watch the art of it all, you know, and that's one thing that has also aided to it being so popular, is the fact that it can end any way.
And it's very strategic, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. When you're in there and you're in the cage, you know, you're like, your mind, it's like an ultimate chess match, you know, you're playing for keeps. I mean, you know, you're trying to outwit each other because there's so many things you can do. You know, you got to not only watch out for the hands, but you got to watch out for the feet as well.
Well, I'm actually watching out for you. I feel like I'm in the cage, and I'm looking for the closest exit. Okay, now it's time for the Asanda Fast 5. What was the first car you ever owned?
It was a Ford Probe.
Really?
Yeah.
Ford Probes weren't popular in Australia.
See why? I can imagine why. It was not like a good car either.
Okay, so what would be your opinion of the worst car ever made?
The worst car ever
Be
made.
worst looking, worst to drive, worst performing.
What is it? The Renault? What is it?
The Renault.
Yeah.
Any of them car you're saying?
Yeah.
What is your opinion of the best car ever? And it could be an old car, it could be a new car.
The best car? I like muscle cars, man. Like a 67 Mustang, one of those.
And what car do you currently drive?
I drive a Cadillac CTSV.
That's a huge car. It's a big car.
No, it's a fast Cadillac. I mean, it hauls.
Okay, now I might come into your mind when I ask the next question.
Okay.
Okay, but we'll just move on. What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear? Man, not fighting well in a fight.
Oh, wow. There you go. Has it ever happened?
Hell yeah, it happened.
Sometimes in an interview, you have to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, it has happened before, you know. There's fights where I showed up and I was just like, what? What was that?
Now, mate, we have to let you go, okay? If you want to be like this, you're going to have to hit the pavement. Yeah.
Okay.
Eat well. And, of course, train at least once a year, okay?
Once a year.
That's the secret to this. Now, I think I'd love to do this. If you
Face
can,
off?
Face off. But you can't hit me because you got hit. And we're done. Now, if you'd like to know more about today's show, go to our website, zoomtv.com.au. While you're there, check out our videos and also our hot deals from our sponsors. And if you'd like to become a sponsor, all the details are there. Until next week, bye for now. Thanks for watching. And remember, whatever you do that zooms, make sure you do it safe. And that's a wrap.